Hey Gooners, this is Alan Smith.
This is Kevin Campbell.
Lee Dixon.
Colin Lewin.
This is Gary Lewin.
Charles Watts.
Dan Potts.
James Benge.
Danny.
Tom from the Gooner Talk here.
Ryan O'Castle.
Simon Collins. You may know me from the Evening Standard.
You may know me for my time at Arsenal.
You may know me from Arsenal or even the Highbury squad.
I'm a Birdcat Wonderland.
Being that physio sat on the bench next to Arsenal with my rubber gloves on.
The former Arsenal physio.
The Emirates press box, from writing, from Twitter.
From goal.com, from Twitter, from YouTube.
Football is the beautiful game and it brings us all together.
Sometimes there are things even more important than wins and losses.
And yes, even transfers.
Every 30 seconds, someone in this world gets diagnosed with blood cancer.
The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society works towards curing blood cancers
and provides support to families currently dealing with these diseases.
Gooners vs Cancer was started in 2017
by a lifelong Gooner who lost his father to leukemia way too young.
Since 2017, Gooners v Cancer has raised
over $75,000 for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
And we need your help to keep the fundraising going in this year's campaign.
Every donation helps.
Every donation helps.
Every donation helps.
Every donation helps.
No matter the size.
And every donation enters you into the Gooner raffle,
where you have a great chance to win amazing Arsenal prizes,
including game tickets, stadium tours,
signed men and women's shirts,
and maybe a retro signed shirt by yours truly, Lee Dixon.
Me, yours truly.
Yours truly, Super Kev Campbell.
So much more.
It's easy to take part.
Just go to www.goonersvcancer.com
and donate directly to the charity.
Pick the raffle prizes you want to enter to win
and wait for the drawings at the end of the campaign.
Again, that's www.goonersversuscancer.com.
We all know that victory grows out of harmony.
Victory grows out of harmony.
Victory grows out of harmony.
With your help, we'll be victorious against blood cancer once and for all.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thanks for your support.
Thanks for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Oh my God.
Boys. All right. Here comes the official introduction of you guys. I'm sorry that we gave so much of your time to rascals and rapscallions.
Yeah, Trev, next time just do 7:15, yeah?
Yeah. I mean,
I could have had more time in bed this morning, Mike. You know,
you need sleep as well. You do need it.
I've robbed you. I have definitely robbed you. But thank you so much. We're in hour 14 now of 27, the midway point of the podcast. Fergus and Trev are the heartbeat of a fantastic Arsenal podcast themselves. A labor of love for both of them, which is the way I describe, people like us who do podcasts that not very many people listen to. But it's a labor of love. But it's way too few people watching the damn thing, but we don't care. A ton of podcasts talk about the games that have just happened, opinions on tactics, the decisions, the lineups, the transfers, and that's all great. You guys do that too. But what you get from Guns and Yellow Ribbons that you don't get from most football pods is the game day experience, the personal side of things, the reports from outside the grounds, both home and away, the drunken hotel podcast 4 hours after the final whistle, the pictures of each one of you dancing, with each other with your shirts off. I mean, that's good shit. So,
can I correct you? I've never had my tats out.
Well, I'm going to work on that. We've
never say never.
Where was this picture taken?
That's at my local tube station.
Was that Debden or Loughton, Ferg?
Yeah, that was Debden Station.
I was hoping that information would not get out, Trev, but people are going to wait for him now at 4 a.m. the morning of a game.
Yeah, get your tats
out.
Oh,
my Lord.
Love it. Yeah, this is...
Tell you what, Stuart done a good job taking that photograph, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I had to ask him for the rights to it, and he agreed that this is definitely going on the website. Yeah, you did say tats, right? I think now
I did say tats, yeah.
Okay.
Although they were quite overshadowed, weren't they?
Yeah. Look, I'm seeing a six pack here. Two of them are his tits.
I'm seeing symmetrical shape, not drooping. I'm not unhappy with that at 61 years old.
No, I'm telling you, if I'm working towards that. But you've got it. So all right. So tell me who the crew is from left to right. Obviously Fergus and Trev and then
Ginger
who
Dan.
are the other two lads? Ginger Dan.
Capo Dan, but he's the man who runs Block 5. He's even been anointed with a crown last week, the week before, where one of the guys in Block 5 appreciated how much he's singing in his flag. They gave him a cap with Block 5 North Bank. And then we got Danish Gooner in the background in Alex. And this rabble will be gathering in Madrid on the Monday and Seville on the Tuesday for the away game. So we will see you down there, Mike.
Yes, I am so excited because the last couple of Euro aways that I've been to, I think were Milan, Herz, and before that it was Lisbon. Maybe that was afterwards, actually, Lisbon. And I've met some great people out there. I had a handful of people that I knew that were out there, but I have a feeling this time it's going to be a motley crew. My wife will
I've
be.
Just got a text from the Guard of Sevilla. Red wine is banned in Seville.
I'm actually really relieved to hear that because I do not need that. I do not need that.
Mike, get used to that, mate, will you please? Because Fergus has got this habit of cutting you off mid-sentence, right? He's so rude. I have to keep telling him about it. He's it's no good. But talking about European trips, it's been a good week. There he goes. You see, we've had no Arsenal, but we've booked all our European trips. I'm fortunate enough to be doing all 3 this year. So I'm ready to go. And if you're going to be in Seville, Mike, wonderful. Can't wait, mate.
It's going to be fantastic. I'll have my wife with me, and she'll get to see the craziness.
Yeah,
she likes a party. She likes a good party.
You go to Arsenal away games on your own. That's the kind of crowd the Arsenal fans are, and you soon mix in and you make friends. And they're great trips. I can't wait for this. This is what I live for. And it's Champions League again. First time for a long time. It's Champions League, not Europa League.
So I don't think we've spoken about that deeply on the podcast as of yet. You want to talk about European football unless you have something planned, Mike? Not 100% sure.
No, I was gonna. Where is it? Just gonna. Oh, something didn't upload that should have uploaded. But so yeah, let's. Yes, actually,
looking for.
Yes, actually, that is what I'm looking for.
I'm almost afraid to ask what that is.
It's Dad dancing at his worst.
Yeah, I don't.
It's in your WhatsApp.
It's in your WhatsApp. I don't know what happened to it, but
Fergus, if it makes you on the dancing, why I vent a little, why Mike looks for that. I got left at a school dance by a girl because of my 2 left feet. So when it talks about bad dancing, I'm your guy. I can't dance worth of.
I'm the Nicholas Pepe. I am the Nicholas Pepe dancing. Honestly, even my left foot is not good enough.
There were no feet involved. It was all the upper body motion.
It was all hand motion.
It was the opposite of this. Like
I was
this,
doing the magic fingers. I was just a little too much.
But he was doing the two things. Like it wasn't like the arms dance. He was going like
it's coordination. It's
one of those.
That is a skill, Mike. That's a skill in itself.
I don't appreciate your greatness, Fergus. That's all. I can see it happening. Mike, if you have on the video, you want to deep dive into the
video is not happening. I'm sorry.
Okay, no big deal. Hey, first time in a really long time, Hilsey, that we're back in Champions League. You just mentioned that you're going to be able to visit and travel all 3 of those times. Did you travel much in the European ones, or were those a little bit more difficult with the countries that we're visiting half the time?
Oh, no, I managed to end up in some interesting places. Take 30 seconds of your time. About 4 or 5 seasons ago, we were drawn to play a team called Poltava, which is right in the middle of Ukraine, And 2 or 3 good friends of mine, we were talking, and we went out 2 days before the game. We had to fly to Kharkiv on the Russian border and then get this 2-hour road trip to Poltava. But when we got there, they decided to declare martial law. And we were all thought we were going to be stuck in Poltava, and the game was cancelled. The game was moved to Kiev because it was deemed too risky, and there we were drinking cheap beer and not really worrying about it too much. But there's a great point that comes out of that about our great football club, in that Arsenal Football Club rung every fan that had bought a ticket to go to Poltava, And the lady rang me and she said, "Hello, Mr. Hill." I said, "Yeah." She said, "It's Arsenal Football Club here. We're ringing all of our fans to say, do not travel to Poltava. The atmosphere is dangerous. There's too much of a risk to go to Poltava. Please go to Kiev." So I said, "Oh, we've got a problem." She said, "What's that?" I said, "I'm already in Poltava." She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm drunk. The beer's cheap, you know." So yeah, I got everywhere. I've been to Belarus. I'm nowhere near as committed or been to as many places as a lot of Arsenal fans, but I've been about. Yeah, I love the European trips. Love them. The company's great, you know, unless you have to sit for 7 hours in a car with Fergus when he's had a curry the night before, which can be a bit daunting. But
that was an Islington curry as well, because that was a lot of lentils.
Oh man. I had to freeze the toilet paper the following morning. It was that bad. It was not good.
It was difficult. Well, yeah, Fergus, it's the first year in a very long time for not only for the Champions League for the Arsenal, but Arteta's Champions League, the renewed Arsenal that challenged City to the league title. Listen, far-fetched here. I'm going to put you on the spot. Fergus, how are you looking at our chances? I think the betting odds have us currently on 4th for the Champions League. Are you 4th confident, or are you like way? Are you above that? Do you think we have a higher?
I think
semifinals.
I think I'm probably below that level, just because I think, dare I say it, but the Champions League and football could be possibly rigged. So I think we get to the last 16. Beyond the last 16 is a bonus, and then we progress from there. For me, if we got to the last 16 and then challenge and possibly, hopefully, win the league, then I'd be delighted. I'd like us to progress as far as possible in Europe, but I'd like us to win the league first.
Ooh, that's a controversial take. It's a lot of people, just because of the fact that we've never had that Champions League glory, we have to navigate the socials, and their clapback most of the time from Chelsea fans or United fans is like, we've won it. And I tell you, Fergus, it boils my piss, and it's something that just drives me absolutely crazy.
Well, United fans have a reason to maybe have an opinion. Chelsea fans have no reason to have an opinion whatsoever. They're corrupt. They bought everything. They've got a shit club, and they've got no history.
And
you're not lying for them, folks.
Not really.
And the club that has absolutely no right to have an opinion and call themselves European or champions of Europe is West Ham. Yet they're not.
Yeah. That's been interesting. The Conference League giving them that glory has been interesting.
They do it to wind everybody up, though. That's the thing.
It's weird because my opinion is slightly different to Fergus's. I suppose because of the age difference. The only thing I've not seen the Arsenal win in my lifetime is the Champions League, you know. And I'm getting on a bit, and I'm desperate to see us win that Champions League. Desperate. It's top of my list. And do you know what? If we play to our very best, and I say this with all sincerity, if we play to our very best, we can beat any team in the world. When we play to our very best with the players we have, we just need to make that more consistent this season, which I hope is going to happen. And we're flying, boys. We're absolutely flying.
Yeah, no, I'm going to second that, Hilsey, because for me, my opinion, the thing that crashed our season, or actually our last 2 seasons, going into the fourth place battle that we had 2 seasons ago, and last year we had the title contention, it's injuries. And this season alone, we have substantially more depth in our squad. So I'm feeling a lot more optimistic, even with the Timber injury. I'm still thinking Tomiyasu could play there, Kivior, you know, wherever you want to place them. But I think we have a little bit more depth in the sense that we're no longer one party injury away from disaster. We're no longer one Saliba away from disaster. So I think we're a little bit more fail-proof. So I'm a little bit more optimistic with you. I got to tell you, when Harry Kane moved to Bayern Munich, I took a little bit of a hit because of shit. Because they needed a striker for so long and they hadn't had it. And Kane, for better or for worse, I understand he's from Spurs, but he knows how to put the ball in the net. So he makes them a little bit more dangerous. But I don't know. I may be completely naive to think this way, but I'm looking at Real Madrid because they didn't buy Mbappe this summer in Barcelona. I'm like, yeah, I could see us squeaking by there. And so I fool myself in this false sense of security and if City gets knocked out.
We've already shown we can beat Barcelona. I mean, we can score in
banger
against them.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I fool myself to believe that like if City gets knocked out, I feel like PSG, for better or worse, don't have the pedigree in European football. All their stars or the majority of their stars left. I don't know. Like I'm dreaming. I'm hopeful, and let's see if we could pull that off. I'm feeling slightly optimistic about it. But I mean, look, Fergus, as far as groups go, we're looking pretty good. It's a nice welcoming back because we were looking at the potential groups that we could have ended up, and it wasn't looking all that well. But PSV, somebody that we know that unfortunately knocked us out in the Europa League. We got Lens, French team. Traditionally, we do good without I'm going to say an epic era type Monaco, which they had all the stars that ended up being into place. And who's that last team, if I'm not mistaken? Let me double check, please, because I have Sevilla. Yeah, of course. Okay, they don't have Unai Emery, so that's a plus. So, what do you think?
You know what, Mike? In theory and on paper, and football's not playing on paper, as they say, it does look like an easy group. But Eindhoven, they're not a bad side. Seville, a good cup side. Very good point by Highbury squad. It is easier to win the Champions League than the Premier League, but I'd like to win the Premier League first. I do get Trev's point. I look, in theory, we should breeze the group, and I would like to see us winning the group and getting through to the next stages, which would make our pathway to a possible final a lot easier. I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult. What are you on about? Go on.
No, I'm not having a go at you, mate. I'm absolutely not having a go at you. But I recall with Arsenal Football Club, we have this habit of shooting ourselves in the foot a bit in Europe. Like look at Eindhoven last season, and then the season before Olympiacos. We should never have got beaten by Olympiacos. We've got this habit. So I'm not saying I'm not confident of where we're going to go. We should win the group, but I'm not going to say I'm overly confident because we've got this habit of just dropping a level or two in Europe for some reason. But,
I dropped about 3 levels in PSV, didn't I?
Yeah, well, that's another story. That's it. That's funny. But as Mike just said, right, we are in a group that we should win, and who knows from there. And then when it comes to knockout rounds, and as I said before, if prime Arsenal turn up to the knockout rounds, no one beats us. If prime Arsenal turn up.
And let's put this in context because, we were a team that just wanted to get back into the tournament. We technically were pot 3 based on our qualifications. And when Juventus got penalized, we moved into the very last spot in pot 2. So to be talking about being in a group that we should be able to win, whereas we could have ended up in a group like Group F as the third. We could have been the Milan in that group where Dortmund and PSG or Bayern and Madrid or something like that was in front of us. I'll take it. It isn't an easy group. It's not like our Europa League groups that where you can pretty much hope to be through after 5 games and just and treat the 6 like a dead rubber. It's a difficult group, but we're the favorites, and we basically were almost pot 3 in the draw. So I think we can be very happy about that draw for once, and now we just got to put the play on the pitch and get it done. So,
Mike, can you put that comment up again from Reese, please, about the Champions League music down at? I mean, there's nothing like hearing that Champions League music. It raises the atmosphere as soon as it's played, and they all walk out onto the carpet and they absolutely lift crowd. There's a little bit of wind up.
You're doing it on purpose, Hilsey. You're doing it on purpose. So there was a tweet put out by The Wave on Twitter last night about the Champions League music at the M's. And I went, the M's? I think it's the N's. And it could be worse. You could call it the carpet. So then Ginger Dan, Capo Dan gets in the WhatsApp group. Let's wind up Ferg. And this is just before I go to sleep. And they start going, the carpet. Reese is in that chat. And Reese is coming like, can't wait to hear the Champions League in the carpet. And this little fucker down here.
I did it.
So you don't like people calling it the carpet. I
no, it's pathetic.
I actually don't like. I mean, I've never really
Is
like.
there an
gone up
origin
on
to
somebody.
that? Excuse me, because
It's
I
because
have heard it.
Arsenal used to
Highbury,
have the
Mike.
best hybrid, the best
Highbury.
pitch, voted year after year after year, the best pitch, and we moved. And you're talking about pitches that Trevor would have played on, where they were like bogs, and Highbury was always like a carpet. But yeah, it's pathetic Twitterland talk.
I think
Damn the kids. Damn those damn Twitter kids. I'm telling you.
Having spent some quality time on the carpet, having scored a penalty from the carpet,
Here we go.
having laid down on the carpet. I mean, I get why they call it that, but yeah, it's a little goofy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that music. It's nice to hear that music compared to the other ones or no music. But did you watch the first 5 minutes of the draw of the Champions League draw when they did a orchestral version of the Champions League? That was the most pretentious thing I have ever seen in my life, and I've seen and met Fergus. No, I mean that 10 minutes. That I mean they had woodwind instruments and a lot of string instruments, and we've lost Fergus, and I think that they had some a cappella stuff involved. I mean I don't even remember, but like I almost threw my television out the window because I just needed that to stop. I'm like, I don't mind the song, but you clearly are so proud of yourself,
Mike.
UEFA.
Once I got over the the pretentious, horrible, musical arrangement, I watched the draw. My wife had a friend in for a treatment downstairs, and I'm sitting here and I'm watching the draw, and I came downstairs all excited, and I went to her, Seville, Eindhoven, Lens, and she went, "What? You think you've gone to all three?" No.
See,
it's a longer story, and Trevor's party to a lot of it.
There's fans and there's fans, you see. I mean, if my missus said to me I wasn't going to all three, it'd be like, off with a ring. See you later.
Yeah.
She's not watching this, by the way.
I had told Steph that we were going to go to. I mean, we're going to England in late October. And depending on the circumstances, we would either fly direct, if the game was going to be home, if it was going to be away. I mean, I knew who our opponents were. I knew because the draw was separated by more than 2 days, I think, or almost 2 days from when they announced when the games were going to be. That was the thing that I was waiting on. And unfortunately, they released that stuff at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, my time, on a Saturday morning. And I didn't see it until 6 or 7 a.m. I woke up. I'm like, oh, shit, I got to look at my phone to see if they've released it. And I saw it was Seville. I got up and I jumped out and I started looking at flights, and it was like watching, like, I mean, the numbers just kept going up and up and up as I tried to start figuring things out. I mean, those flights were going to fly directly from DC to Seville and then fly home from Seville to London. I say fly home, and then from London home. But like, I was so nervous because I was like, I don't know where I want to go. I think I would like to go to Seville, but which of those three, if you had to pick one, of those cities to get divorced in, if you had to pick one and only one, which would you choose, and why?
Is that it? Well, for me, I've been to Eindhoven. Lons, I think Seville is the place because it's going to be warm and it's going to be sunny, and we're going to be able to sit outside and drink beer and talk rubbish. And so if I'd have had to choose one this season, I'd have chosen Seville, definitely.
And I've been to Seville before, but that was a long time ago, and not with my wife. We've been to Spain together, but it'll be nice getting to a new city and having that experience and being warm. Eindhoven sounds like a lovely place, but in October that could have been pretty unpleasant.
It's December.
It's
December the 12th.
Well, I'm saying if it had been Eindhoven at the end of October, that had come out of that scheduling, then is what I meant. But yeah,
we're not allowed to talk about Eindhoven in front of Fergus because last year he had an old person moment, fell down a flight of stairs, and hurt his wrist. and decided
I broke my coccyx.
he decided to come to me for sympathy after I'd had about 15 pints. And
bad idea.
It wasn't happening, boys. I was just laughing, and the more I laughed, the angrier he got. And it was all right though. Nothing wrong with him. Bit of bruising, a few more beers, he'd have been fine.
Bruised ego. I didn't hear that. What is it?
It's that one.
I was drunk at the bar there, and he's leant over my shoulder. And he bruised his hand, and it was the wrong hand. He couldn't, for a little while after. So,
and if he broke his coccyx, that's even worse. But
thank goodness for that. So
at least you weren't brittle. You're back. You're 100% now. You've got some empathy, not empathy, sympathy from Ruth.
To answer your question, the negotiations that are continually ongoing within this household, Seville was the first negotiation point to say which of the three venues I'd like to go to. It's since progressed that Seville and Lens are the two destinations that I'm going to, and there is an outside but probably unlikely chance due to health and fiscal reasons that I won't be in Eindhoven, and the nightmares of falling down those stairs in that stadium that is lethal. Although Seville looks, look at him laughing, bastard. Seville looks even more lethal because there is nowhere to grab onto. Oh dear.
Oh man.
Do we?
By the way, negotiations is like the most married thing ever. I mean, having been with my wife for a very long time, saying the current negotiations are still ongoing is like the most married man thing ever. I absolutely love that.
Well, I came along and sent a text to my boss because I had already booked the Seville one. And then after last week's podcast, when Podathon shamed myself and Trev into going to Lens, Trev's moving house, and I had a few health issues last year, so I was just trying to behave myself a little bit more this season. And I came down after last week's podcast, and my wife goes out on a Monday night and she said, "How'd your podcast go?" And I said, "It went really, really well. A bit longer than normal. 1 hour 23. Can you believe it? Wow." She said, "Oh, Christ, you must have a good chat." I said, "Yeah, bloody Dan shamed me, and he put me and Trev up right on." He said, "It's my birthday, and these two old gits won't go and buy me a beer in France." And she went, "Oh, I didn't know it was his birthday. You must go." So, it was just, I said, "I'm not trying to angle for that, darling. I wasn't trying to use a brownie point when I didn't need to use a brownie point."
I was going to ask, what did you have to give in return to be able to go to the two areas in the negotiations? What was your
couldn't possibly say.
Silence, absentee.
No, listen, 30 years served in October, and I think it's all about negotiation.
Yeah.
One topic of conversation, they were coming like unpopular opinion. They're not really big fans of the Champions League music, which I found funny because Trev, when I told my wife that Arsenal had returned to the Champions League and she does not watch the sport, a little bit later on in the day, I just hear, "Oh, great. Now I got to hear the champions," which is, that's how that poor woman, man. I drag her through all my football shenanigans. But one talking point that hits social media, I mean, and this is going to open up a window to take the piss out of teams like Manchester City and Chelsea, but West Ham accounts, the ones that were like almost bantering and trolling the Arsenal fan base with the Declan Rice negotiation, made the claim that North London, the Angel song, was fake atmosphere in the Emirates. And I figure
West Ham Central.
West Ham Central. Yeah, I love how we get linked. Like when we got linked with Buendia, there was like the Aston Villa troll account that was driving the entire fan base crazy. And this whole summer, it was West Ham Central. And I'm like, really, dude, that's what you're going to have to go with us? And I'm just curious, you guys are
saying like, oh, they only started singing that when they were winning. Like we're supposed to sing it before it existed.
Yeah. I was going to say that great point that it didn't exist prior to that. But yeah, as match going fans, like it translates through TV. I mean, what last season, this season, it translates through TV. I'll never forget when it was William Saliba last season gave up that own goal, I believe, versus Leicester City and the entire Emirates, the carpet, started celebrating and chanting his name. Yes. So like
you did to me, Mike.
You did. Fergus, I only get to be on a pod with you once a year, so I got to get all the puns in when I can. But the atmosphere, the renewed atmospheres at the Emirates, I mean, is it as polarizing as it is live, as people speculate, or is it quote unquote fake-ish according to West Ham Central?
Mate, firstly with the West Ham Central thing and the other trolls, I take that as a compliment. That confirms to me that the Arsenal are back and playing well and worrying people. As for the atmosphere, the Emirates has been crying out for an atmosphere since 2006. We went years and years and years. We struggled, and it just occasionally it would lift, but it just wasn't consistent. And then it picked up a bit, and then we discovered North London Forever, and that has just set the stadium. It sets the scene at the start of the game, you know. And if you lift the crowd at the start of the game, and then the players start playing well, that's just like a seesaw thing, you know. Crowd lift the players, players lift the crowd lift the players, players lift the crowd, and that's what's happening at the Emirates at the moment. Dan and Fergus started outside block 5 and 6 before the game starts. Now they have an hour singing and shouting, and the fans go into the stadium in the right frame of mind, you know, and it's wonderful. The atmosphere in that stadium, when them players run out onto that carpet, the atmosphere is unbelievable, right? And when we scored the second goal, when Rice scored against West Ham, my ears hurt in that stadium. It was that loud. My ears hurt. Never known it that loud before. Never.
Yeah, I mean,
Fergus got bruises from.
I mean, do you agree with what Jim said about how the atmosphere against Manchester United?
Sorry, I'm going to start a separate list for Jim, so he's down to 1. I've got Trevor down on 5, Reese on 1. So I'm just keeping a list of the carpet references.
Oh God, I love it.
Absolutely love that.
Fergus is the king of allowing people to come up with things to just keep coming back at him with and over and over and over again. It's the most wonderful thing. What were we talking about?
Well, we're talking about the atmosphere at the Emirates. I'll
tell you what,
myself. Yeah.
What we have started doing, Mike, is where Dan orchestrates a lot of the music with his flag and his hat and everything else. We found that post-COVID, we just built it up and up and up and up, and it's absolutely fantastic outside Block 5, Block 6. Get in an hour before the game, especially our next home game, which is the North London Derby. Get in an hour and 15 minutes or so. Get your half-price beers and just get there and get your voice. But over the last week, the last couple of songs, we do a couple of renditions of North London Forever. And I'll tell you what, Trev, how loud was that in the concourse? It was unreal.
Yeah. They, in fairness, Dan and Fergus do a great job. They do a great job on that concourse. It is a completely different concourse now. It's loud, it's vibrant. The half-price beer does help. There's no denying the fact that half-price beer drags people into the stadium, you know. But it's got to be done. Fergus and Dan do it really well. Boys, I've just before I forget, right, because I'm old and things go in here and out of here very quickly, you know. Fergus doesn't like the ground being called a carpet, right? But Fergus's lawn, back where he is actually a carpet.
Plastic.
It's fake grass. It's a carpet.
All the irony.
You are a fucker, you know.
Yeah, I always thought that's what people were talking about. I was like, yeah, we're going to welcome Urian Timber to the carpet today. I'm like, why is he going over to Fergus's house?
Exactly, boys. Just to end the story.
Yeah.
That carpet is Fergus's garden.
No, Trev
he has a
cancelled.
Hoover for it.
He's not staying anymore. No. Just
Honestly.
cancel his room. Cancel his
Look
room.
at him.
No, he's not staying. Just rang the wife, Trev. Your room's cancelled.
Get outside and Hoover your carpet in your garden. Go on.
Oh man,
absolutely amazing. Well, I'm on the topic about the whole atmosphere, and as a unfortunate, very, very far away fan that has not been able to participate, I did see that the song, it's global now. I think it's Arsenal's fans. They made it their own. And I had the privilege of assisting and being at 2 of the games for the preseason here in America. And I think LA, that SoFi Stadium that impressed Mikey and I, it was absolutely amazing. And when the song started, coming on, and you could just hear nearly 60,000 Arsenal fans in that stadium sing. I think the capacity is a little bit bigger than that, actually. It's overwhelming, and I could only imagine how that could be multiplied by 90% of the stadium being just exclusively Arsenal fans.
I'll tell you when it was amazing. I'll tell you when it was amazing. Wembley, the Community Shield.
Yes.
Boy,
yeah,
did that
it
lift
translated
the roof.
very well.
I've not heard that. I don't like Wembley Stadium. I was unfortunate never to be able to get to the old Wembley, but the new modern Wembley has got no atmosphere whatsoever until the Arsenal went to town and they sang that song. Oh my God, did we lift the roof, Trev?
Well, and they did both. They did the city one, the city anthem, and then ours, and it was just, I mean, it was not even close to. I mean, I think theirs was first, and then they came and did ours, and it was like night and day.
That was a funny old game for City fans, that Mikey. And that we never heard them all game at Wembley. Never heard them.
Only when they scored.
Yeah,
that was like they scored. They cheered, but like you couldn't hear anything. And Tom Campton, who to his, I mean, he was sitting in the media area, which is, you know, if we're at one end and they're at the other, and the media area is about 35. You know, like 35, 65. So it's closer to the Man City end than it is to the Arsenal end. He said all you could hear was Arsenal.
Yeah. Brilliant. And they also played it after the game, you know, North London Forever at Wembley, when we collected the trophy. And the fans immediately caught onto it, you know, immediately. It's our anthem now. It was superb.
Can you turn that off so we don't get a copyright strike?
I get that all the time.
Yeah.
Well, Aston,
it's too large.
Currently, Aston has like a record of getting podcasts demonetized for us because he has a habit when he first started arriving and hosting TGP this season. It seemed like every time he was on, he would have a clip from whatever NBC or some type of audio, and like Mike kept on getting emails after emails, and it was just funny because like he's like, no, it went from haha this happened to no, Aston, seriously, you need to stop this, and then eventually he just had to stop.
And let's be clear, it's not like he was costing us any money, because our podcast costs money. It does. We don't make any money.
Yeah, likewise.
But you know, it's just you don't want to keep seeing that email coming in saying, you know, the funny part about the email though is it's like the owners of the copyright are now receiving the money that your stream would have earned, and I'm like, wow, no. They better not come and bitch to me that they're not getting paid for shit. But
tuna sandwiches all round,
exactly.
If they're lucky.
Mikey, you sent me a message. The answer is yes.
Okay, thank you. So there's been a lot of, how do they say, controversy? Is it the way they say it
controversy
on that side of town? Yeah, controversy for my Yank ass. Shame about the new ballot system.
Wait, you're American?
At times, depending on who I'm talking to. Restricting the AA, the Aspirin Army ticket allocation, and affecting the atmosphere. So block 5 and 6 down to M's. Come join us. That's wonderful. I know there was a lot of talk about the Aspirin Army helping create that atmosphere from last season. Now, I don't want to credit anybody exclusively, but how are you handling the whole new ticketed system now that it's been implemented? Because I saw a lot of hot takes, so to say, Trevor, and mostly from fans that have been more established and had a season ticket for a way longer period. And of course, the younger fans who it might benefit because they have a little bit of a raffle system going on, they're super pro. So as a long-term match-going fan, how is this new ticketing system affecting you?
Well, you see, sounding selfish, it doesn't affect me because I've got my season ticket. So I've always got my seat, Mike. But I am seeing people that have been going to every football game at the Emirates for years and years and years, yeah? And they get their tickets because they're a red or a silver member, and they get up really early in the morning, or they get online and they sit there for an hour and wait for the tickets to come on sale, and they buy them. You know, they're enthusiastic. So that doesn't happen anymore. And a lot of people that have been to every game for the last 10 years haven't been to a game this season because of the ballot. So I could see Arsenal were trying to make it fairer for people. I think it gives Arsenal a little bit more of a backup and a reasoning for saying we're going to sell as many red memberships as we want, because everybody now gets a chance in the ballot. But it can be looked at being fair from that perspective, but it is unfair I know some great Arsenal fans, very committed Arsenal fans, been to lots of games and haven't had a ticket this season. So from that perspective, it's unfair to me. So to sum it up, I'm sort of on the fence, Mike. I've sympathy both ways.
Yeah, I guess it depends on perspective of where exactly you are on that scale. Because if you've been there going for so long and now you're getting bumped and not having the opportunity, I could see how it could become a little annoying.
There's a couple of reasons why they've done it. They've done it to try and prevent the touting, and I'll come on to that in a second. But they've also done it. Depending on your red membership and your silver membership. Now, the silver membership is about 30,000. The red membership is about 250, 300,000 and increasing. They're still selling red memberships. So you today could go and buy a red membership and end up going to the North London Derby by sticking your hat in the ring and just paying you 34 quid. And somebody who's been a red member and not, I've got my season ticket as well, like Trevor, but I've got a couple of red memberships, which I do to buy family members tickets or if people are coming over from Ireland and so on. And even Mike on occasions, I think if tickets come around, we move them onto our red membership so we can share them among each other. Mine, I've had my red memberships longer than my season tickets, so probably about 15 years, and they haven't moved up into silver, which they were meant to. So, but they're still putting people in the pot. And there should be a limit. It should have been 100,000 or 50,000 or whatever the number is. But now you can have 300,000-400,000, and they're still encouraging people to buy a red membership because you could, if you're lucky, get a ballot member. They've done it as well to stop the touts. Last year they had robots, and I went to the Oxford United game, and I was with a chap, and he had stopped at the services and met some guy, and he picked up a wedge of tickets like this that were sourced on from various and it's unreal. There's a few different ways it's done, and I won't go into the technicalities of it, but the money that these people are asking for tickets is ridiculous. I know Mike and I are on a WhatsApp group, and amongst ourselves and amongst friends, we always exchange tickets amongst each other, and to make sure that the seat is taken by a genuine Arsenal fan. If I can't go, I'd rather give my seat away than see it empty. Or if I'm going to give it to Mike's sister or aunt or whatever, I would only sell it at face value. I'd never for a profit. And I think that's the way it should be done. Outside the Emirates, at the Arsenal tube station, the last time we walked by, Trev, you probably won't remember because you'd gone past the 2 pint mark, so you would have been pissed. But there was a tout out there with a wodge of
when
PDFs.
Ferg tries to talk shit. It's so cute.
There was a tout out there with a wodge of PDFs. So their robots are still buying the tickets on Ticket Exchange, putting them onto their fake red memberships, and they're buying a £30 or £50 ticket and selling it for £200, £300, £400 outside the Arsenal station on front of the police, and nothing's done about it.
You see, Ferg, although he's not the brightest button on the planet, Fergus makes a couple of really good points there.
Well, thank you. My work is done.
People are getting angry.
And end it with a high, Fergus. Just cut out now.
People are rightly getting angry because 3 or 4 seasons ago, you couldn't give away a ticket to the Emirates.
Yeah.
People didn't want to go. There was league games that I couldn't go to, and I gave my ticket to someone. I wouldn't have sold it. It wouldn't have sold. Sunday, because we're successful, all these people come in, and that's fine. But they're stopping people that have been to lots of games from getting a ticket. So, as I said, you have to look at it from all angles. And last year, for me, it got so bad with the touts. I knew if I couldn't go and I put my ticket on Ticket Exchange, it would be snapped up in seconds by a red member. And that red member would likely be a ticket tout. He was going to print the PDF off and sell it for lots of money. So I never, ever use a Ticket Exchange for my season ticket. Never, ever. I make sure I give it or sell it to a friend who's a red member who I know will go to the game and not take advantage of the situation. So it's a massive can of worms, this ticket business, So
You know what else?
I do wish that companies would implement more money into their ticketing system as far as buying. And look, related but unrelated, when the PlayStation 5 came out and in the States, just hear me out. I'm going for this, Mikey.
If this is a generational thing, it might be lost on us, Mike.
Yeah, well,
I'm
no,
going
it
for
was
this.
bots.
Yourself.
To
You're talking to
Trevor's
4
point.
people in their 70s right now.
Oh, yeah. No, it's to Trevor's point, it was just bots, and we're seeing it more and more with technology that there's people that use these bots and perform a transaction within like a fraction of a second. It doesn't allow a regular human being to process a payment. So they end up missing. So part of me feels like I understand everybody's frustration. This is from a guy that can't make it over there. I'll be honest with you. If I sympathize for the people that have been going there for a really long time, I would like to have an opportunity to purchase a ticket. But the fact that if I could get a Red membership, to your point, Fergus, and be able to go to the North London Derby before you, unpopular opinion from my side of the pond, maybe I feel a little hard done because I'm taking away something that you've been doing consistently for so long. And like Trevor mentioned, if you weren't there for the Bellerin days, you know, why should you be there for the Ben White days?
The Kolshelny and Kolasniak days.
Exactly,
you know what else?
right?
You know what else it does as well? Okay, our first two home games all over the world that knows everything is right and the reality all over Twitter, or X as it's now called.
Yeah.
They said how crap the atmosphere was, and it was all down to the ballot system, and it was all down to Ashburton Army losing their allocation and everything else. There was an element of that, but what it was is there was a few factors. There was 12:30 kickoff the first game, not enough beer. Trevor was even polite and sober-ish. So then you had the 3 o'clock kickoff, which was against Fulham. There was a train strike. So there was those factors as well. But also the ballot members and people who haven't been there very, very often will come in and we'll be in the middle of a song and they'll go, "What do you think of Tottenham?" I'll put an American accent on there, sorry. But
you know what? I'm not offended by that. But
I don't. Yeah, dude. Mike and I were in Los Angeles and heard that roughly 29 times.
And it was the same guy. It was this one guy that was
we were
like 12 rows behind us. And if I was,
you want to see the looks they get in Block 5 when they do that. Dan, like the ginger hair stands up and he just goes for them. Honestly, the flag comes out, makes himself big. You know, like those dragons and That was one of the 3 games in the States that I actually was sober for. Had I not been sober, I would have been one of those fat guys throwing punches that you saw in New York. But absolutely diabolical. So, all right, we have 5 minutes left in this segment. We are going to start the new segment right at 8 o'clock, assuming we've got one of the 2 guests already backstage. The other one's going to be here soon, and we're going to want to use the full hour. So I am going to text you guys about the 4 questions and get your answers to that so I can compile a spreadsheet. Want to make sure, did you already have yours prepared? I've been listening. I've been on quite a lot last night and this morning.
The ultimate.
Okay, then quickly whip through the answers to your 4 questions then, Fergus.
Well, I've got 3 of them written down here. 3 of them. What do you think that will be? Was it some rippling news in football? You have to word the questions.
Like an out of the blue kind of prediction that would surprise people.
Manchester City actually get penalised for their rigging of the game and doping the game, and they get found guilty of all 115 charges, and they're excommunicated down to the National League.
I'd have stuck an allegedly in there somewhere, Fergus, to be honest, but yeah.
Oh, okay, allegedly, just in case.
All right.
Well, they have been charged. They have been charged. It is a fact.
Oh yeah, they've been charged and they're guilty, but whether they're penalized or not is the other story. Yeah, I will text you for the rest of that. We have to do our prize drawing. We are drawing now for a Zenith coin. It's the 3rd Zenith coin being given away. Thank you to Sophie and to the Highbury squad and to Zenith for providing these coins. This is the clock end coin, which is this beauty right here. Arsenal on one side, the famous clock from the clock end on the other side.
Oh, it's got to be somebody from Ashburton Army. You got to fix this.
and yes, so we're giving that one away. The next time we give away Zenith coins is going to be a pack of all 3 of the ones that we've done. So it's a very special gift. I've got my Zenith coins around here. Actually, I think they're down in Florida, but they're in the pool right now. But who do we have for winning this Zenith coin? And the winner?
It's me.
Thomas Stout. Congratulations, Thomas Stout. Thomas is from, where is he? Oh, he's not on my sheet. But Thomas, you've won a Clock End Zenith coin. Congratulations. And thank you for your donation. Thank you, everybody, for your donations.
Our Guinness to his friends.
Yes, exactly. So just a quick update as people I've seen kind of start pouring in as it's now 8 o'clock in the morning. Our podcast Pod-A-Thon week of donating and fundraising has now reached $10,665.49. That 49 is not an accident, but we are absolutely smashing it. We're coming up on 11,000 for the event, and when you add in our Podathon with our summer fundraising from the tour and our Tollington event, we are now at $25,965,000.
Mike, take a bow, mate. Take a bow. Honestly, what you've done is fantastic.
He means me, Magic.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing to bow for. The people who should be taking the vow of silence is me. But no, the unbelievable generosity. All I'm doing is stringing together some good guests who are willing to get up early in the morning for me. But the hard work is being done by over 100 and at this point 173 people who have all donated to make up that $10,000. So thank you so much to everybody. And Ferg and Trev, we can find you at Guns and Ribbons. And your individual, I know, Ferg, you don't like to use your individual one, so I didn't put it on there. But
the
anywhere
easiest
else?
way to get me is Guns and Ribbons on Twitter, Guns and Yellow Ribbons on all other socials. 7 o'clock tonight, me and him will be hosting our podcast. We're going to preview the Everton game. And we're bringing on somebody who played not only for Arsenal, but Everton, where we've got the pleasure of having Super Kevin Campbell on for a period tonight. So 7 o'clock. Trevor is mightily excited about this.
Just remember, people, please, that when Guns and Ribbons tweets, it's not me, it's him. So yeah, I don't want to be associated with him.
When you see naked pictures of Trev with his shirt off, it's actually Ferg deciding to do that, which is even more worrisome than I think the pictures themselves.
No, he done it himself, and he kept on saying, "Look, I'm up to 40,000 have seen this, 50,000."
And I think you reminded me of that. But boys, on a serious note, thanks for inviting me on, guys. I've very much enjoyed this hour. It was worth getting out of bed for. Absolutely, it was worth getting out of bed for. You do a cracking job, and I'm just looking forward to. I'm new to podcasting relatively to you guys, and I love it. But do you know what I love most? I love most doing them bits before and after games when we get together and do our bit. And I'm normally drunk, and it's great fun. But
I can't wait to do that. I can't wait to do that with you in Seville.
Absolutely,
in the Emirates and in Newcastle. We're gonna climb them steps together, both in Seville and Newcastle. So
take the lift.
Absolutely.
Take the lift.
Thank you,
Promise when you guys are down there, you'll call it Sevilla.
Yes, I have to call it that. And Mikey, thank you so much for riding with me for the last 5 hours. I think
something like that. I lost count.
It's
always a pleasure, dude.
It's
really
been fun. Pleasure, Mike. We'll hopefully see you a little bit later on today.
Adios, amigos.
All right, mate. Take care.
Hey, Gooners. This is Alan Smith.
This is Kevin Campbell.
Lee Dixon.
Colin Lewin.
It's Gary Lewin.
Charles Watts.
Dan Potts. James Benge.
Danny.
Tom from the Gooner Talk here.
Ryan O'Castle.
Simon Collins, you may know me from the Evening Standard.
You may know me for my time at Arsenal.
You may know me from Arsenal or even the Hybrid Squad.
I'm a Birdcat Wonderland.
Being that physio sat on the bench next to Arsenal with my rubber gloves on.
The former Arsenal physio.
The Emirates press box, from writing, from Twitter.
From goal.com, from Twitter, from YouTube.
Football is the beautiful game, and it brings us all together.
Sometimes there are things even more important than wins and losses.
And yes, even transfers.
Every 30 seconds, someone in this world gets diagnosed with blood cancer.
The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society works towards curing blood cancers
and provides support to families currently dealing with these diseases.
Gooners vs Cancer was started in 2017
by a lifelong Gooner who lost his father to leukemia way too young.
Since 2017, Gooners v Cancer has raised
over $75,000 for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
And we need your help to keep the fundraising going in this year's campaign.
Every donation helps.
Every donation helps.
Every donation helps.
Every donation helps.
No matter the size.
And every donation enters you into the Gooner raffle,
where you have a great chance to win amazing Arsenal prizes,
including game tickets, stadium tours,
signed men and women's shirts,
and maybe a retro signed shirt by yours truly, Lee Dixon.
Me, yours truly.
Yours truly, Super Kev Campbell.
So much more.
It's easy to take part.
Just go to www.goonersvcancer.com
and donate directly to the charity.
Pick the raffle prizes you want to enter to win,
and wait for the drawings at the end of the campaign.
Again, that's www.goonersversuscancer.com.
We all know that victory grows out of harmony.
Victory grows out of harmony.
Victory grows out of harmony.
With your help, we'll be victorious against blood cancer once and for all.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thanks for your support.
Thanks for your support.
Thank you for your support.